Hi everyone, this is Healing with Charity, and today I want to talk about childhood trauma. What exactly childhood trauma is. So this is going to be a two-part series. Today I will talk about what exactly childhood trauma is and the long-term effects of childhood trauma. And then in my next video, I'm going to cover tips and ways that you can heal from childhood trauma. So what exactly is childhood trauma? Childhood trauma is a deeply distressing and disturbing experience or happening that happened to someone during their formative years, during their childhood, during when they were still young, okay? And then it goes on to affect them if it's left untreated. So that is what childhood trauma is. Now, what are the causes, okay, of childhood trauma? We have the first one is abuse. Abuse is a very major cause of childhood trauma. And abuse can be physical, when you inflict an injury on a child or when you harm a child physically, that is physical abuse. It can also be emotional, okay? Childhood trauma, okay, can be caused by emotional abuse, such as, constant criticism, verbal attacks, curses, talking down on the child will believe that they are of no good. And it can also be sexual abuse, any form of sexual abuse at all, either harassment or exploiting a child sexually, that can also cause childhood trauma. Another thing is neglect, and neglect can also be physical, failing to provide the basic needs for the child, like food, like shelter, like clothing. Physical neglect. It can also be emotional neglect, such as when you're not supporting the child emotionally, when the child does not feel loved, or you don't give the child love, or you don't nurture the child. That is emotional abuse. Also, another cause of childhood trauma can be when they witness violence, such as domestic violence. When they witness, maybe their mom or their dad, being assaulted, any violence at all. Or it can also be communal violence, or whatever violence at all that they witness can cause childhood trauma in someone. And another cause of childhood trauma, the fourth one now, can be loss or separation, maybe the loss of a loved one, the loss of a parent at a young age, or separation. That can also lead to childhood trauma. And another thing, the fifth one now, is chronic stress. Chronic stress, such as exposure to poverty, homelessness, chronic situations that stresses a child, can cause childhood trauma in that child. And the last one that I want to talk about is bullying. I'm telling you, bullying can cause childhood trauma. When a child faces bullying at their formative age, when they were young, this can cause childhood trauma in someone that can have long-term effects even into adulthood. So these are the causes of childhood trauma. So the next thing I'm going to talk about in this video is long-term effects of childhood trauma. How does it affect someone even into adulthood? I want to talk about that as well. So the first thing is mental health issues. The person may have mental health issues. You can have PTSD, can have complex PTSD, ADHD, can have anxiety, depression, okay? Mental health issues if it is left untreated into adulthood, okay? And another long-term effect it can show up in someone's adult life is relationship difficulties. The person will have issues with trust, okay? They will have issues with bonding with other people. They will have challenges with trusting other people. They will have challenges with setting up boundaries, okay, and managing attachment. They will have all those relationship issues. And another thing it can also cause as a long-term effect of childhood trauma is risky behaviors. You see, the person will begin to abuse substances, drug abuse. They want to harm themselves because it has lingered and it's now showing up in adulthood. That is another long-term effect of childhood trauma. And the last thing I want to talk about is physical health. Yes, I'm telling you, childhood trauma can cause physical health if it has gone on for a long time without being detected, without being treated, without paying attention to it, it can lead to such things as heart disease or autoimmune diseases, okay, because of what the chronic stress that person went through during their formative years, during their childhood, and it's now beginning to affect their physical health as well. Okay, so in my next video, I'm going to talk about the tips and the ways that you can heal from childhood trauma. I'm going to be dropping some tips in my next video, so watch out for that video. Thank you for listening. Click in the link in my bio. We're here to help, whether it's childhood trauma or abuse, whatever situation that you're going through. We're here to help you, okay? Book a session today and let's talk about it. Thank you.